So I'm Empathetic Chicken. I'm in the process of trying to design my Oracle Dex box. Or like just the title thingy. And this could potentially be the back and the front, or the front and the back of the card design. I originally had this, but I'm kind of reconsidering some things. I don't know if that's clear. There it goes. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but after printing this test, I feel like I want it to be square. So now I'm reconsidering the backgrounds too. I'm just maybe taking this, making the cards like a square format, because like they're kind of inspired by my little sticky note, not obsession, but like the whole concept of the cards comes from like all these little random messages that I had come to me like through various forms of just like hearing people say certain phrases, or like just random insights come to mind, and I would write them on sticky notes and just kind of post them up around in my room to just kind of like, you know, try to filter, or like, not filter, program, I don't know, program my little head with things that would be helpful instead of overthinking and self-hatred. But yeah. Anyway, the little post-it notes, like, I think that was like the original little working title, was like Post-it Oracle, even though like, don't sue me, Post-it people. It's like, I'm not stealing your stuff. I just really like the product. You know, it's very handy for thoughts. But yeah, I think it would be cool to have them like Post-it note sized. And like, that's a good shuffling size. Like, you know, like this is just a good hand shuffly. You could like, yeah. So I think I'm gonna size this joker to be like a square. And then maybe I was doing some little tests. I'm eventually going to cut these out. But I have my little heart in my brain, because that's another aspect of this deck. Is just kind of like, I learned a bunch of things about... like, I never want to talk about certain concepts because it feels like they're really watered down and they sound like almost cheesy when you talk about them. But like when you feel them, man, like, you know. But it's just like, I've had this like battle with my head, like thinking, like overthinking, and just like thinking the worst. And so like, I've been learning to kind of like come at life from a less like logical standpoint. And a lot of that, I guess you could say, is from the heart. It's really like cheesy and cliche sounding, but like people know what they're talking about, man. So like, yeah, going with that theme. And then the little title me and my niece came up with, because I was just trying to explain to her like the concept behind it, or some of the concepts. I feel like it's very layered. It's hard to like convey everything, and maybe I don't have to. Maybe I can keep some things to myself, but I was just explaining to her how like pretty much our beliefs can kind of like create different realities, like depending on how we use them. I mean, a lot of us, I feel like we recreate the same things just out of habit and comfortability, which, I mean, no shade. Like, I got my issues too. But, I mean, I feel like the truth of it is we have a lot more influence and power than we'd like to think sometimes, because sometimes it's easy to stay, like, it's easier to stay stuck and feel like you're helpless than actually change. Which could be like a slap in the face, but like, I've slapped myself in the face so many times with that thought, like, I know better, like, and that's not like judging anybody who stays stuck, because, you know, we all have our little hang-ups, but we do have a choice. You always have a choice, Peter. Any Spider-Man fans? Tobey Maguire version. I ain't never like seen many of the other ones. Anyway, that's not what this is about. But it's kind of like that little quote: "Great power comes great responsibility." Like, not to rip off anything, but like these people, like these messages are in like the popular media or whatever, the pop culture stuff. Like, as harmful as some of the messages can be, like, they can be like nice messages too, you know. Which is another layer of meaning to this. Is just kind of like learning to filter out the messages that aren't helpful or that harm you. Because I feel like a lot of people judge themselves because of like things that we see and what other people say, when ultimately like we gotta live with us. And I feel like as long as we ain't hurting nobody, there's nothing wrong with being like different and kind of like straying and going on an alternate path. Which brings me back to the original thing that I was trying to finish, was the story about how I came up with the name. Excuse me. Yeah, but we were just kind of like brainstorming and anyway. And then we just talked about how we could use different thoughts to create a different experience, and then we both kind of just like looked at each other and we were like, an alternate reality. And you just had to have been there. Like, it was just a moment where like we both were like on the same page, and then like that became the theme of the day. We would just look at each other and just be like, an alternate reality. And that's probably not going to relate to anybody else, but like if you ever have like loved ones and you share like little memories, like I'm sure apply your own little yeah, you know what I mean. Some people you just have like little connections with. But yeah, I realize it could sound a little bit like done to death, like, but I've always been interested in like physicsy stuff and like science and I don't know, like space and all that kind of stuff. I remember when I was like 11, I bought this book. I don't remember if it was the exact age, but I bought this book. It was called Physics of the Impossible by that Michio Kaku guy. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. But like that was like the coolest book that I ever read. Like, for real. Like, I just love reading about like parallel universes and time travel and all that. And so I guess I'm kind of drawing influence from like my little interest in that, and just like broadening like our minds to think and see more than just what's like here, because like obviously there's something out there. I want to believe in the X-Files fans. I don't know, I just like science fiction, like, can you tell? And yeah, I mentioned Reanimator already. Frankenstein. Reanimator's technically like a ripoff of Frankenstein, kind of. But yeah, I love to fly. So I mean, this is kind of inspired by what's going on out there. Do I need to come interfere? Sorry, there's like a random stray cat that comes and everybody hates him. And I don't want to hear no freaking problems. Anyway. I don't know. Like, these are obviously inspired by the Reanimator opening scene. I just love the like neon, like science-y illustration type stuff. And this feels like very, I don't know, pieced together, like parts, like dissecting, I don't know, like, it's hard to explain, sorry. I had like a sinus infection or something. So that's why I sound like this. But, yeah. And then to get deeper than that, I feel like this will translate better in my writing when I write, or when somebody reads what I wrote about the deck. Because it's not so easy to explain, but like, I just have been navigating like this whole new existence since like my dad died. So it can feel like very disorientating, whatever, you know the word, hopefully. and it can feel like everything's just like a mess. And so I kind of want to capture that with like the medium that I'm using and just like the kind of like this roughness of it. Like just scraps, like you're just in this weird phase of like clinging to what you had and like being torn away from it at the same time and just like grasping for something new and comfortable again. So I don't know, there's a lot of layers to this, and I'm not going to be able to capture all of it by speaking about it, because I mean, language just like waters things down, so maybe the images themselves will translate in some way. Excuse me. But anywho, what I'm trying to do here is figure out my little cards now. Yeah, I'm gonna get a different angle so you can see more up close. Alright, so right now I'm working on just like doing some details on these. And then I was just testing out like if I were to put these like instead of this deal, like how that would look. And I think I might like that, especially if I change it to like the square format. I mean, this would obviously be like smaller and fit on the card, but I think I like this, but I just don't feel that it matches the best. Sorry, I'm trying to get my little orientation right. But I definitely want to use this, because this is what that is. Can't really see all the colors. Like, it's kind of like glittery, but that's not going to translate. But it's fine. It was fun to make anyway. But, yeah. So I had like the brain and the heart. And so I'm going to have like on the back side of the card, I'm probably going to do like the brain. Because a lot of times like we'll be working from our like headspace. And it takes like, I don't know. You have to go through the mental sometimes to like get through to the I don't know how to explain it. The feelings behind, like we just, I don't know. I feel like our thoughts and stuff can cloud our true feelings sometimes, and like the meaning that we put on certain things affects how we feel. So I kind of want it to be like we originally start out in the head, like trying to think things through, but then like we consult like our heart or whatever, like our, I guess, higher self or whatever, the piece of us that doesn't need logic, because it like knows that, you know, everything just is and there's no judgment. Like we just create the judgment in our heads. So yeah, I just want it to be kind of like, this sounds kind of counterintuitive to the thing, but like the voice of reason. But like reason is like logic, isn't it? I don't know. But I don't know, like the consulting the heart versus the head. Because I feel like the head can tell lies, and I don't think you should fear the head, but just understand the head. Which is very weird to say. Like, how do you like understand logic with logic? That's why you gotta take the brain out of it and go to the heart, like the feelings behind it. But it helps to make sense of the feelings with the head. So I'm gonna just stop rambling and go in circles, because I feel like I cannot explain this in the best way right now. But I have a plan, and I'm executing it. And so I'm gonna get off the camera and stop like talking about it and actually do it. Thanks for listening. I might be back, I might not.